Today on The Social, it's our Taylor Swift special. The megastar hits Canada for the final leg of her Eras tour, and we're getting the party started with a full hour of Swiftie celebrations. And we all love to speculate on who the superstar is singing about, but are fans focusing too much on her love life and not enough on her music? Then, Baker's gonna bake the sweet secrets to Taylor's famous chai sugar cookies, cinnamon rolls, and more. Plus, from her debut era to the Tortured Poets department, a look at Taylor Swift's evolving style with Canadian fashion writer Sarah Chappelle. It all starts now on The Social.
For turning up. This is our Taylor Swift special. Yes. We're celebrating the Eras tour as Taylor kicks off her Canadian shows in Toronto starting tomorrow. And just a hot tip, be sure to stick with us to the very end of the show because we might have a few surprises in store. So joining us today is Virgin Radio morning host Deepa Prasad. Super Swiftie fan, Carly Thorne. Okay, so we're gonna dive right in with this. It is Taylor Swift's world, and we are just living in it. So the Globe and Mail published a Tay to Z glossary to help if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all the hype, and you might need a bit of a starter pack. So this made us think, like, does the amount of sort of lore, Taylor lore, kind of overwhelm you, or are you totally into this? Is it part appeal? Is it part of the appeal?
Oh my God.
What do you think?
I mean, I made a YouTube video trying to encapsulate, this was like 1.5 years ago, all of the lore, and it is an hour long.
Your video is an hour long?
My video is an hour long.
Okay.
Like, filming that video almost killed me. Like, it was like I was making my, like, Gladiator or something. Like, it was tenuous, because there is so much, and there's more. Like, that was a surface level. Like, Swifties know you can have a PhD in her lore and still know maybe 13%. Like, there's really not a lot. Like, there's people that are like, well, her blood type is this.
That's so specific.
In that community, do you guys get, like, you didn't know her blood type? Like that kind of, or is it like beautiful?
I think it's like a sharing learning experience. There's always gonna be a couple people that really hold pride in the knowledge they have, and that's their journey, and I support them on that. I just don't want them to be mean to me. But mostly it's just like a sharing of knowledge. I think it's just fun to kind of let your freak flag fly.
Yeah. Deepa, you, I know, are a fan, but like, I don't think you're as deep into the lore maybe as Carly is.
No, I think when this was first announced and there was so much like franticness around her coming to the city, I was really annoyed. I was like, oh God, the city, the traffic's gonna suck, everything's gonna suck. But now I'm like, this is such a historic moment for the city because I have never seen the city react to an artist the way that they have with her. So I'm like, yeah, I love Taylor's world. I love Taylor Swift.
Oh my
it's really exciting. Yeah.
Well, I just learned what the bracelets are. Oh, Did you guys know it comes from a line in one of her songs? You're on my own, kid. And the line is, so make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it. Yay. Oh, I think that's magical, and I support the community.
Yes.
You know what? I'll just say, what I admire about this and these extreme fandom is that it reminds me of the nerd world of sci-fi. And like for a long time, that was just sort of relegated to one area. And now it feels like in this fandom, it's exactly the same thing. Like if you're a super hardcore sci-fi fan, there are certain things you should all know. Like one of them is that Tom Baker was the 4th Doctor on Doctor Who.
Okay.
You probably don't know that. Another one is that C-3PO, he can speak more than 6 million languages.
I knew
Bet you
that.
didn't know. Did you know that?
one.
Did you know that the T in James T. Kirk in Star Trek?
He's Tiberius.
You got it! Yeah!
Cynthia, we've shown our age. I think it's time to move on.
I had no idea what you guys were talking
She's
about.
like blah, 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 blah.
Don't know.
Okay, so the London Free Press is reporting on how mothers and daughters have been bonding over Taylor's music and shows, if you think about it, for 18 years.
Wow.
That's really touching. Carly, what do you make of this bond?
Well, I did this with my mom. I brought a picture. I made her search the depths of her Facebook in 2012. In 2012, we went to the Red Tour on Mother's Day together. I know, and she became a fan because I was a fan because she would drive me to school and I had the aux and I would just play Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
There's another picture that's me at the 1989 tour with my cousins. My mom's taking the picture. I'm trying something.
Is that your cat? Is that Taylor's cat?
Yeah, Taylor's cat.
That is giant. That's amazing.
And like I remember going to these concerts with my mom because they were like the first big concert we got to go to together. We would know all the words to the songs. Like it's really beautiful to like share that, like share an adult activity with your parents.
With your parents.
And it's nice to go to Taylor because like we've all had that experience where you're watching a movie with your parent or you're watching a movie with your kid and then like people start getting it on. And it's and it's very PG. Like she's not breaking it down in a really graphic way. So you don't have to like avoid eye contact with your mother.
Good for all ages.
Okay.
You did this with your mom?
Well, no, actually, I never bonded with like over any artist with my mom. But looking back at like your experience with your mom, it is beautiful. But I'm thinking about it from a very practical perspective. If me and my mom like the same artist and we went to the concerts together, that means she would be paying for the tickets. So I could have saved a lot of money.
Can you go back in time?
I'm dumb. So I wish I could go back in time to like do that with my mom.
Yeah. Did you do this, Jess? Did you go?
No, I feel like I'm out of sync with my mom. She's light years ahead. So like when I was growing up, she loved like Chris Christopherson and Bruce Springsteen, who now I love both. And she watched like The Real Housewives decades before, and I used to kind of poo-poo it, to be honest with you. I'd be
What
like,
is
Mom,
this?
you're better than Real Housewives. Flash forward to my life now. And I'm obsessed. So she's a tastemaker, Linda.
Yeah,
I
she
love
really
her.
is.
Yeah,
She really is.
tastemaker.
I definitely want to take Jaya to concerts. He's not really into Taylor Swift, but I would take him if he was. I did, however, take my niece to Taylor Swift's concert when she was 12 years old, and I actually got to meet Taylor, guys. And I think we have a picture. This is a picture. It looks like it's a cutout of her, but this was an amazing experience. I feel like this is a different generational thing to be able to bring your nieces, your nephews, your children is a shift that didn't happen in the past, and I think it's just so lovely. It's spreading joy and being able to celebrate all together.
I love this story, but quickly, how tall is Taylor Swift?
She's very tall.
Do you know this?
She's very tall.
6'4".
Great, okay.
Done. We're gonna say
We'll
that.
take that. No, somebody's shaking their head. The
Somebody-
50s know.
Somebody
in this
knows.
audience knows.
We're gonna find out. 5'11".
That's
There we
tall.
go. The nerds know. We have to take a quick break, and then Taylor says she can do it with a broken heart, but has media coverage focused a bit too much on her boyfriends and not enough on her musical artistry. Let us know your thoughts. We are back in 3 minutes. See you then. We would love to have you here with us at some point, so scan the QR code on your screen to find out how to grab tickets to the next show.
Yeah. And Swifties know that Taylor is a tortured poet and has a great talent for writing timeless lyrics, but is she getting enough cred? Music journalist Rob Sheffield told Variety that people focus way too much on her boyfriends and not enough on her art. So has coverage been unfairly focused on Taylor's boyfriends over the years? Carly, I'll come to you.
I think that the answer is yes and no.
Okay.
I think that obviously, especially in the past, like people are obsessed with who she's dating. I think also just a lot of times if a woman is in the public eye, they're like, but who is your man that keeps you?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
But I also think we're interested in the people that inspire the art that we love. You know, like Picasso had muses, and people have gone through and written novels and written books about the people that inspire the art that we love. So I think that it's a little bit, yes, of people are overly obsessed with her boyfriends, maybe because of the patriarchy. But I also think, like, we're interested in the people that inspire the artists that we love.
Isn't it also, like, hear me out, I totally agree with you. And this particular writer, he wants to place Taylor in sort of the pop music canon. He wants to shine a light on that, not necessarily on the celebrity and icons and the boyfriends and stuff like that, which I think is fair. But I do think, and more music writers should do that rather than just talking about the boyfriends, but I do think the boyfriends and the celebrity-ism feels like fair game because it's almost as though she's extended the invitation herself.
Totally.
Right?
I mean, isn't her entire career based off of making songs about love and breakups and all of those things? And as soon as she has a breakup, there's maybe a new album. So I feel like because of that, it's like, okay, there is an open invitation. And I do think, there's a lot of talk about the relationships and focus on that. But at the same time, I do feel, I work on radio, I feel like we do give her accolades. She's a fantastic artist. She's an amazing songwriter, lyricist, performer. But at the same time, we do talk about all of the guys she's been with.
I think people are partially also obsessed with it because people have grown up with her. And so it's like it tracks your own relationship with love. Like I think people are so invested. First of all, a love song, in an instant, it can take you back in time to like a makeout session in the back of a car. Like we all have this experience. Right? It's all very potent. And I think that this, also the fandom, to go back to our first topic, is so intense. There's that parasocial relationship, like the one-sided relationship where people feel deeply invested.
Oh my God.
Like I feel like, I mean, maybe you would know more than I would, but that like even some of her relationship decisions have been influenced by the fandom.
Well, it also feels like, like your friend.
Well, breakups for sure, a little bit.
Yeah, like, you know, when I think I'm speaking for a lot of people, like, it does feel like I'm watching a friend grow up. Like when she started dating Matty Healy, I was like, it's a canon event, I can't interfere. Every single one of my friends will date a man like that, like a tattooed guy that like smokes cigarettes inside. Like,
it's true.
It's a rite of passage.
That's right. That's right.
But it is like we are locked in. I'm sat front row with popcorn in my hand. I am obsessed. I do think also, like, when you think about somebody like the Beatles, who are heavily, you know, they have a lot of accolades. We still also, like, know John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
Absolutely.
And Linda McCartney, all of these people. Patty Boyd, who inspired all of these songs. So I think as long as it's a part of the story of the music and not just making her
removing the music,
from Lavender Haze, when she's like, people either want me to be a one-night stand or a wife. Like, she's a person who writes music. So I think as long as it's within the music context, I think it's fair game.
It is
Loves
fair
it.
game.
Love it.
Okay, we got a lot to pack in this show. So on the other side of the break, Swiftie extraordinaire Gavin Knox is here. He's gonna bake it off. Get it? With some of Taylor's favorite recipes. So that's going to be amazing. But first, whether you have tickets to the big show or not, Toronto's version, Tailgate, is the ultimate Taylor Swift fan experience. And it is steps away from the concert venue. There's going to be makeup stations, bracelet making areas, merch, and so much more. And guess what? Everyone in today's studio audience is going home with 2 tickets to tomorrow's Tailgate.
Not to brag, but I can tell you the names of the architects who built the Parthenon, Ictinus and Callicrates. I can also tell you when Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, 1508 to 1512. And I can name every single Taylor Swift song. Well, let's start with the most obvious, the super popular Jump It Off.
Shake It Off!
Shake It Off? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes, there is an embarrassing gap in my education. So, Ahead of the Eras Tour coming to Canada, I am gonna get schooled today by these little professors in everything Taylor Swift! It's high time I learned a thing or two. What should we start with?
Makeup.
Yes! What does that mean? Does anyone here know how to apply a cat eye?
Yeah.
You do? Thank you, Taylor Swift. So go ahead.
Glasses.
Glasses? Oh, right, sorry.
Oh, gee. That's not that good.
I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. You told me to take them off. I trust you.
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do we like it? I think it's amazing. Olivia, to be honest, this is better than I could have done. And I think once I get the red lip on, it'll all come together, don't you think? Who knows how to put on lipstick?
Me.
Okay. Oh, wow, you are ready to go. What do I do? So delicate.
Yeah. You have to do like that.
That's pretty good. Wow, great work. I don't look exactly like Taylor Swift yet. What do I need?
The hair. Hey.
Hair? Curls? Long?
Yeah.
Well, it's your lucky day because I never travel without a wig. Hello, old friend. Okay, wish me luck. Do I look like Taylor Swift yet?
You need to make friendship bracelets for the era.
Friendship bracelets? That has something to do with Taylor Swift. Can you guys teach me how to do them?
Yeah?
Okay, the education continues. Guys, does anyone else need bifocals to like getting the little thing onto the little thing? No, none of you. Why are bracelets connected to Taylor Swift?
They trade them. They put stuff, example, Poets Department, because it's her new album.
Oh, so the messages sort of have a meaning.
Yeah.
And mine says 13.
Her lucky number.
I'm beginning to see the light, my friends. I'm beginning to see the light.
Welcome back. Taylor Swift is known for many things, like her obsession with the number 13, her love of her cats, and her impeccable baking skills.
So today we're celebrating the pop star by giving some of her favorite recipes a try. Here to teach us how to bake it off, like Taylor Swift, is Swiftie superfan Gavin Knox.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And I am so excited because it feels like your two worlds are colliding today. You're a baker, you're a Swiftie, and here we are. This is glorious. So give us some insight into Taylor the baker.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely thrilled, as always, to be here talking about two big passions of mine. In my red era.
You got it, nailed it.
So Taylor, as we know, when she's not touring or producing albums, she is an avid baker. She's constantly online doing shout outs to chefs, to other bakers, to foodies that she loves and supports. She bakes for Travis and his team, the Kansas City Chiefs. He bakes for her celebrity friends.
Yeah.
And actually recently, I'm not one for gossip, but Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, I believe, has gone on record saying that, you know, Taylor and his daughter Sterling, who's 3, have been bonding over baking.
Oh,
And it was really, really cute.
Yeah,
that is
so good.
So sweet. So I do want to get into some of Taylor's favorite recipes, starting off with the sweet treat she's most famous for. She even posted a really cute handwritten recipe on Tumblr back in the day. So tell us about her chai sugar cookie.
Sure, yes. In the days of Tumblr, does anybody actually remember that?
I never used it.
So Taylor posted a handwritten recipe, which was a huge hit with fans, and is based on a recipe by Joy the Baker. It's a sugar cookie, which Taylor tweaked by adding some of her own ingredients to it.
Can I put it in my mouth?
Work away. I've not. So basically, Taylor tweaked it. It's a basic sugar cookie recipe, but she tweaked it by adding some chai tea leaves. So basically, a chai tea bag, open it up, put it into the mix, and finish it off with an eggnog glaze. Her own words, and I think this was doing the rounds maybe in 2014, is that it's like having Christmas in September.
It really is.
Lovely.
those nice, like, like cinnamon, clovey,
It's that warm, spice feeling.
notes. Yes. Okay, back in 2020, Taylor posted this photo with the caption, "When you're proud of your buns," so proud of your buns that you post them on the internet. So that she recently made a specific cinnamon roll famous. So how are these buns involved in her love story?
So Travis Kelce has actually gone on record saying that Taylor makes good cinnamon buns or cinnamon rolls. And this recipe here is actually from a favorite haunt of the couples in Kansas. So the restaurant is called The Rye in Leawood, I believe, in Kansas. And it's where the couple go lots of times, and this is one of their surefire hits. So much so that Taylor was having a girls' night out with Brittany Mahomes, and she ordered these to go as a special treat for all those involved in it. Good?
Yes, please.
Yeah, what makes these so special?
So these are slightly different to the ones served in a restaurant, which are dough-based ones served in a skillet. Again, it's easy to see why they would be a big hit. These are a much more enriched dough. There's lots more butter in it, so they're slightly like a pastry.
Yeah.
Great thing about these is you can make them ahead, store them uncooked and unglazed in your freezer, take them out, pop them in your oven. Fantastic cinnamon rolls to go.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
That's a hot tip right there.
Another thing that Taylor, the baker, is known for is her homemade Pop-Tarts. I've never actually had an original Pop-Tart. Never in my life. So I want to try yours for sure. And they may have caused some bad blood with the Chiefs head coach. So what is the story behind that?
So yes, as I mentioned, Travis said that Taylor makes good buns. The other thing he said is that, moving on, avoiding that one, she makes good Pop-Tarts. And these have been such a hit that she made them one time for the football team. However, the head coach, Andy Reid, missed out on them. He has got some serious beef with Tay-Tay at this stage.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. And this is, of course, a lot of you are going to know this story, this smart marketing ploy that the toaster pastry brand, actually asked her to release the recipe. They took out a full-page ad in the Kansas City Star.
Come on.
And of the Kansas City, and they posted it on Instagram. So it read, "To KC's most famous fan, we heard there's a Pop-Tarts pastry, your version, and in its honor, we're donating to Harvesters, a local Feeding America partner food bank. But if you release the recipe, we'll double our donation." So did she?
As of yet, it is unverified. However, Swifties, being the super sleuths that they are, have done some deep diving and background checking. And as I mentioned, Taylor is constantly referring to specific food chefs and bloggers. And they reckon this recipe, which is the one you have here, is from New York Times food site, where they have a recipe for Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
It is incredible.
It's as good as
They're
Tay-Tay.
so good. Okay, so next up we have these oatmeal chocolate chip cookies from the Food Network's Anne Burrell. And Taylor actually tweeted at Anne back in the day saying that discovering these cookies was, quote, a real turning point in my life. Like, wow. Dramatic. This is a powerful cookie. So tell us about these.
So yes, these are indeed life-changing cookies, I can say that. Like I said, she is constantly giving shout-outs. If she finds a recipe that she likes, she will give that person that credit. Hi, Taylor, I'm still waiting. And these are a really good oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. So they're a traditional cookie made with creaming your butter and sugar, adding in your wet ingredients, and then your walnuts, chocolate chips, and there you go. It's fantastic.
And a little bit of salt in it, too.
A little bit of salt. There's a good thing about it. Amber recommends that when you take them out of the oven, sprinkle them with the salt straight away, and that helps it stick. So it gets you that salty, sweet combination.
Really
So
good.
good.
So good.
I do want to talk about another cookie. There's another chocolate chip cookie recipe that Taylor is known for, and this one might be a little bit more in style right now since it's made with the trendiest fall ingredient, pumpkin. So tell us about this recipe.
So these are pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, and yes, along with the chai ones, they're another one that Taylor is really known for. Like I said, when Tumblr was around, she was really active on that, and fans would always ask her, where did you get the recipe, or could you give me a recommendation for a recipe? This recipe, in Taylor's words, is pretty solid. That's a recommendation if ever there was one. So they're by Food Network chef called George Duran, and basically it's a pumpkin chocolate chip cookie that you make. They're spongy, so they're not like a traditional
soft.
cookie.
Yes.
They're not crispy and hard. They're quite spongy and cakey.
Okay, let's quickly do the last one, which is a berry pavlova that she made in 2014 for Ina Garten. And it looks like this one might be so delicate. Tell us about it.
Isn't it? So yes, this is an Ina Garten recipe that Taylor loves. It came about because a food magazine did an interview article where they paired celebrity icons. So this was a music icon giving their recommendation or their hero.
Yeah.
And Taylor chose Ina Garten. They spent the day basically bonding over food, boys, diet, and whiskey sours. What better way to spend the day, really?
Perfect day.
You know?
I hope that's your afternoon. It's perfect. Thank you so much for this incredible Taylor baking tutorial. And if you want a recap of any of these recipes for yourself, head over to our YouTube channel after the show.
And studio audience, listen up. Our friends at Clubhouse want to help you bake it off like T-Swift, so they're giving you all an assortment of products to take home. And up next, a fascinating look at the meaning behind Taylor's style choices with fashion writer Sarah Chappelle. And don't go anywhere, we have lots more surprises coming up.
Tour costumes to red carpet looks and streetwear, our next guest has spent over a decade documenting Taylor Swift's fashion choices, identifying each and analyzing everything she wears.
Yeah, and the Canadian's wildly successful blog turned new book, Taylor Swift Style, takes you on a journey from Swift's earliest days as a country singer to the world's biggest pop star. So here to tell us more is fashion writer and best-selling author, Sarah Chappelle.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it so much.
Well, Sarah, let's start with you taking us back to the beginning. How did your style analysis of Taylor start?
Yeah, so my book, Taylor Swift Style, actually shares a name with my blog, Taylor Swift Style, which I started in October 2011, which is 13 years ago.
Oh my God!
What a coincidence.
Yeah, and I started it when I was a journalism student back in Vancouver, and I really wanted to take a deep dive offering like context and commentary on Taylor's fashion. And really the blog represented a Venn diagram of the things that I was most interested in and most passionate about. I've been a fan of Taylor since 2006, so I've always loved her music. I was pursuing a degree in journalism, and as a young woman, I was really trying to figure out, my identity, and fashion is a really great method of expression and exploration of who we are. And so I put all of those things together, and I made a blog, and now I have a book.
Okay, so there are so many fashionable pop stars out there. So what was it about Taylor in particular that captured your attention?
Yeah, I think what has captured Taylor's attention for me and for a lot of fans is her, true authenticity and emotional resonance. I deeply relate to Taylor's music. I could give you, a chronological timeline of my love life by telling you what Taylor song I related to at a point in my life, and I'm sure that many of the people here can as well. And so we deeply relate to Taylor's lyrics, and she's put so much of herself and all of these personal details that Swifties love to pick up on in her music that she's also, by counterpart, put just as much attention and just as much care in this visual legacy that she has crafted fashion-wise. And I've always said that her music and her fashion are like two sides of a locket, where she uses both as like these communication tools that she most effectively wields to tell her emotional story. They're two halves of the same story, and they really kind of come together to bring forth, her visual brand to the world.
That was so good.
Yeah, thank you. Very articulate. I wrote a book.
You know what you're talking about. In this book, you cover 10 of Taylor's albums, alongside like her journey with the music, alongside, of course, the fashion. But you've narrowed it down for us today to 3 eras.
Yes.
And they have been the most significant in terms of her style evolution, starting with her debut era, which makes sense.
Yeah, so starting from the beginning, Taylor Swift origin stories is that when she was like really coming onto the scene, when you're kind of breaking through as a debut artist, your first job is an elevator pitch of like who you are as an artist. And of course, Taylor did that very effectively with her music, but she also gave us an elevator pitch like visually through the clothes that she was wearing. So she would wear a sundress plus cowboy boots, and that kind of communicated to the world that she was a teenage country singer. So without even listening to any of her music, you just took a look at her, clothes that she was wearing, and it immediately told you exactly who she was.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah, and so the next significant era that you call out is 1989, which is one of my favorite Taylor Swift eras.
A pop girly.
Oh my God, I love a good pop girly. So why was this so significant for her?
Yeah, so as Taylor shifted away from country music and started, becoming the pop phoenix supernova that we see today, she shifted away from those cowboy boots and sundresses to really embrace the power of the matching set. So she would wear a crop top and a matching skirt. And this is a uniform that she could repeat over and over and over again, but change the colors, change the patterns. But it created this visual iconography that so many of us can still recognize a decade later as being very recognizable to that time period in her life. And that's, what if I told you none of it was accidental, right? Like that is intentional.
So lastly, you're saying that Swift's folklore and Evermore eras, they indicated a big style shift as well. In what way?
Yeah, so Taylor, has kind of covered so many genres in her 18 years of being a musician. And the folklore and Evermore eras, which I combined as one chapter in the book, really represented another kind of genre shift in her, discography. And as she shifted toward an indie sound, she also shifted toward an indie aesthetic to correlate and match with it. She would really lean into, these plaid Stella McCartney coats that really brought cottagecore to the masses and gave us all this kind of feeling that we really needed in the pandemic. And this period of time, she also sought to style herself, and that was the first time that she had ever done that in her career. She has a glam team, she's a stylist, a hairstylist, a makeup artist, but during the pandemic, so as not to endanger her team, she sought to style herself. And I think, we saw that with her kind of more demure kind of hair, more demure makeup, which I think really suited the time period that we were all in, sweatpants and pajamas. Likewise, I think one of the most iconic pieces of clothing from that time period, which she also calls out as the lead single for Folklore, was Cardigan. And I think that at the time we all really needed to be wrapped in something cozy and comforting and warm. And again, that's not an accident. That is a very intentional thing that gives you an immediate feeling, right? Like you feel that in her music, and you also see that through her clothes. And those are important messages that she's using her fashion and her music equally to communicate.
Wow. Well, the detail you go into in breaking down some of her looks is so detailed that, I think it would probably surprise some of the people in this audience and some of the biggest Swifties out there. Can you give us one of these examples?
Yeah, so in my book, I really try to go deeper than just Taylor wears this designer. I really try to offer, based on having been a fan for as long as I have, having a journalistic background, offering more context, more commentary, more analysis. Taylor's, music and discography is so deep and so rich in text that there's a lot there to decipher. And one thing that I think a lot of people are surprised to take away from is that in Taylor's earliest days, she would actually be styled by the wife of her then former label head, and we would see that come up.
Wow!
So it's very, I think it surprises a lot of people how very in the family that time period of her life was, which I think kind of underscores the deep semblance of pain of how, the fallout from that occurred to her, because it felt like, a deep personal family wound. But Sandy Spicco was responsible for a lot of the prom dress, corseted, shiny, dresses that she would wear in her earliest days.
Honestly, listening to you is so fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy that you're here. So Taylor Swift's Style is out now, so make sure you pick up a copy. And studio audience, you're in luck because you're all going home with your very own copy.
That's not all. We're also helping you find your Taylor Swift style with gift cards from our friends at Winners and Nicks, plus a beauty prize pack including goodies from Revlon, Elf Cosmetics, and Grace and Stella! Up next, imagine making $10 to $12 million a night. Music journalist Emily Hanskamp is going to break down the Swiftonomics next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So Taylor Swift is about to wrap up the biggest grossing tour of all time right here in Canada.
So we've all seen the headlines of the millions and billions of dollars made from the Eras Tour, but here to break down the Swiftonomics of it all is music journalist Emily Hanskamp. Emily, welcome back to the show.
Okay, Emily, break it down for us. What exactly is Swiftonomics?
So we know that Swifties are capable of causing the seismic activity of a 2.3 magnitude earthquake, right? They did that last year in Seattle, but their economic impact bears a lot of conversation as well. I mean, since launching this Eras Tour, it's the first tour to ever gross $1 billion. The economic impact is so significant, We've got a term for it. It's Swiftonomics. We're going to get into it today.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's start with Taylor's personal information. How much money is she taking home?
Well, so she hasn't shown me her pay stub, but Forbes recently placed her #2 as the richest musician in the world. She is the #1 richest female musician in the world. They estimate her net worth being at around $1.6 billion. Wow. And what I want to add, the caveat, compared to a lot of other artists and musicians on that list who have side businesses, and that's where their riches come from, Taylor's worth and her financial accomplishments are from her music, her catalog, her streaming deals. So that's a very impressive fact. But also, Forbes estimated that her personal earnings from each one of these shows per night is between $10 and $13 million.
Wow.
And I'll throw one more figure out there to get our eyes watering a little more. In revenue from merch alone last year, $200 million. So she's doing pretty good.
Okay, so when I hear these figures, I just think of the money that also fans are spending.
Yeah.
So how much is this tour setting people back?
So it might surprise you. It might surprise you to learn that the average Taylor Swift ticket price is $238. Doesn't really match with the prices we're kind of seeing online. That's because those are resale prices. She did not use dynamic pricing for the base level value. That's why that number is lower. Okay. For Canadians, though, when we talk about resale, the picture's not great. Ticket IQ found that for Canadian resale prices of these Vancouver-Toronto dates, they're 225% higher than European dates. Oh. And that our average resale price on those websites is $6,351 US.
Wow.
And I'm gonna throw one more stat at you that blew me away. So usually a concert goer, for every $100 you spend, there's about $300 that you're spending, ancillary spending on, travel, hotel.
Right.
For Swifties, that's $1,300 to $1,500 of side spending. So it's no wonder local economies are getting such a boom, right?
Okay. Oh my gosh, well, let's stick with this local economy boom because it's such a big boom that governments and cities are inviting Taylor, like, please come, because it's boosting their economy so much. Justin Trudeau did it. Yep. So how much of an impact is Taylor really having at a regional level?
People think Taylor is gonna save us all. I think the best way to illustrate this is with a few examples. So take LA, she had a 6-show run there. She is estimated to have increased their GDP of LA County by $320 million and added 3,300 jobs as well. The Illinois governor kind of credited her tour to reviving their tourism industry. And more recently in New Orleans, there were 3 shows that are expected to have had an impact economically of $500 million. So wow, these are massive numbers.
Okay, so how has the Eras Tour impacted businesses in particular?
I love this because it's nice to remember that local international businesses are capitalizing off of this as well. So there's travel, for example. So there were no tour stops in New Zealand, but there were in Australia. So to get those Swifties back and forth, Air New Zealand had to add 2,000 seats. So there's some cash, for example.
Wow.
When it comes to those, those friendship bracelets that you see being exchanged at the shows, very good time for jewelry merchants right now. Walmart Canada has confirmed that they've seen a 250% increase in their jewelry making kit sales.
Oh, wow.
And ahead of the show tomorrow, Michael's, a craft store here, has seen a 300% increase. So it's amazing.
Wow.
But there's also these local businesses that we're seeing get really creative. We're seeing Taylor Swift themed ice cream. We're seeing sushi reputation rolls. We're seeing cat cafe parties. I mean, it's so nice to remember that, yes, there are these billionaires that are part of this equation, but also local businesses are cashing in.
Good.
So you've talked very eloquently about Taylor's influence of economics around the world, but what do you think is going to happen to Toronto?
So we are expecting around 240,000 concert goers coming through those shows. And in terms of money, we're expecting direct spending $152 million. That's just direct spending. And 93% of that is coming from people who are out of town coming to the city. But it doesn't end there. Even once Taylor leaves the city, it's gonna be a sad day, we're expecting overall $282 million of a Swiftonomic impact here in Toronto. 40 million, which is going to be, things like tax revenue going to be distributed across areas of government. So we can expect a good little boost here as well. Even though it'll cost us,
okay, well,
it'll eclipse by the profits.
Let's talk about that, though, because obviously it's exciting to have all these tourist dollars coming in, but that could also potentially drive prices up. So is it fair to say that Taylor maybe has inadvertently caused some inflation, too?
Swiftflation, maybe? Yeah. There are some economists are saying that, like in the UK, there were some economists who were attributing their flatlining 2% rate to Taylor Swift. I mean, these are very temporary dips, but if you're a Swiftie in town, you're going to feel it. I just looked at hotels in this example. I looked at a hotel in the area near the arena. $1,100 a night.
Wow.
But if I looked 1 week later, post-Taylor Swift era, it's going to be $225 for that same hotel room.
Yeah.
So this is a very real consequence for all of us here in the city, and that is why we're seeing fans in Vancouver and Toronto exchanging accommodation and tickets. They're trying to find a way around this, which I find a beautiful side of this expensive coin.
I do too. I think it's really touching, but we have time for one last question. I imagine there are still some people who don't have a Taylor Swift ticket. Any words of advice?
The FOMO is really strong right now. I don't know if you feel it. I feel it. I think we all feel it across the country, not just Vancouver, Toronto. If you're gonna try to get these last-minute tickets, and yes, there will be last-minute tickets, please just have a budget in mind before you go. Because you're gonna get there, you know, the adrenaline's gonna be pumping, and you think those ticket prices are gonna drop. They're gonna stay pretty high. So just know what you wanna spend and how much this is really worth to you, because you're all going to the tailgate party. If you're at home, you can buy those tickets for $50. It's gonna be an incredible experience. There's so many things going on in these cities around Taylor Swift that can help you enjoy the Swift mania, even if you're not inside the arena. So don't let the FOMO take you out too much. This is a fun time for all of us we can still enjoy.
Great job.
Oh my goodness, you're wonderful. That was so good and so informative.
That's the pep talk I tell myself in the mirror.
That's what you're telling yourself. I love it. Thank you, Emily, for being here. And make sure you stick around, because right after the break, I think you know all too well what might happen. Welcome back, everyone. Are you ready for it, Swifties? Because we're about to make one of your wildest dreams come true. One lucky member of our studio audience is going to win a pair of tickets to Taylor's final Toronto show, as well as a 2-night hotel stay in downtown Toronto. Oh my God, I've never been so nervous. Okay, this is good. Thank you for the support.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of excitement.
Okay, oh my God.
We're hoping for all of you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I want to give everyone one. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna just do it. I'm just gonna do it. Commit. Oh
You
God.
feel good? You feel good?
Okay. Okay. Can someone lock that for me?
Okay,
Oh, there we go. I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh God, I'm at the Oscars.
Don't say the wrong name.
Yeah. The winner is Moonlight. No. And the winner is Natalie A. 45. Give me another 40.
We are so happy for you, so excited. Can't wait to hear. Tell us what's going to happen after the show. Anyway, listen up. There is still more ways to get your own Eras Tour tickets. So, Deepa, you're actually going to be continuing the Taylor Swift fun tomorrow.
Yes, that is right. So Virgin Radio is actually doing the Fearless Food Drive tomorrow. So if you're in Toronto, right outside of 299 Queen Street West, Darren and myself, my co-host, we're going to be outside from 6 to 10 a.m. And the entire purpose of this is we do have Taylor Swift tickets to give away, but we want to do something great for the community. So we have partnered with a local food bank. So the idea is you come, you bring at least one item to donate, and you're automatically entered into win tickets to see Taylor Swift. So that's all it takes. But if you want to donate more, and if you want to donate more, if you bring over 100 pounds of food, you're then entered in to win $1,000 cash. So the idea is community come together, do something great while winning Taylor Swift tickets. So we hope to see you there tomorrow.
Okay, so if you want more information on the food drive, visit 999virginradio.ca. You can also catch Deepa every weekday morning starting at 5:30 a.m. on 99.9 Virgin Radio's morning show.